I live! I'm alive! Everyone, I'm alive. Alright. So, Warhammer, or rather GW, decided to have their big summer reveal this past week. And I got to see it. And I have a lot to talk about. Most of it good, some of it bad, but we'll save that till later. So let's start. Alright, let's start things off. So, first and foremost, we got the Leagues of Votann reveal. So, part 2. Leagues of Votann part 2. We got the Burry Eigenison. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyways, he's a named character. It looks really cool. I like the fact that he has what I think is a Tyranid Prime head on top of him. Looks really sick. Not a bad model. Then we got the Arcanist Evaluator, which is described to be the mad scientists of the Leagues of Votann. He comes with a helmet version, much appreciated. We got the Mimir Strategist with the sickest pose I've seen for a dwarf in a while. I don't know what it is. I just like how he just has his hands together and he looks like he's in deep thought, looking at that screen he has. And he's got like these little like tentacle appendages coming out of him, and these mechanical appendages. Reminds me a lot of Doc Ock from Spider-Man. Looks sick. We got the Ironkin Steeljacks, which I can see why some people have issues with it, because they look a bit cartoony. But they are reminiscent of how the old Men of Iron were depicted, because these guys are in fact Men of Iron. So I'm really happy that they're leaning, or not rather leaning, but giving us more of that aspect of the lore, because we're told that the Leagues of Votann have Men of Iron within them, and they're treated as equals. They're part of the kin, and to see them now represented in models it's nice. This is what I like to see. We also got we also got some, like, what I can imagine is a melee version. So he's got a Power Fist and a Bolter. Some of them have Power Swords as well. We got the Catonian Earthshakers, which is the artillery of the crew. And they also have mini Men of Iron. We got the big Men of Iron, and then we got the mini Men of Iron. That's super cute. They look cute. I like these. These look okay. Then we got a light vehicle in the form of the Capricus. That's I have no thoughts on this. I just looks like a hover vehicle. Looks perfectly fine. Nothing much to it. And we got the reveal for the Codex and the Combat Patrol, which, let's see, it comes with 5 Einhir or Herfgard, 3 Bogheer, Brokheer, Thunderkin, and 10 Hearthkin Warriors, and a transfer sheet. 555 decals. I did not know that's how many decals the Leagues of Votann transfer sheet had. My God, that is surreal. And yeah, that's the Leagues of Votann for you. Now, some people have some opinions on the Votann. They don't. Some people believe that they don't fit the style of Warhammer. Some people expect it to get the old squad style. The Leagues of Votann have a special place, because, for me at least, because I joined the hobby late into 9th edition. Like as soon as the Leagues of Votann had been announced, I was already part of the hobby. Now, I had known about the hobby for many years before that. Many years before that. But I didn't join it until the end of 9th edition. So to me, like, Warhammer 40k, I subconsciously associate them partially with the Leagues of Votann, because that's when I got into it. So despite some of the grievances I may have with some of the models, I still like the range, and I'm very happy that it's getting expanded. New armies should get expanded ranges. Okay, like I don't think that's a controversial opinion, but I'm glad that they're getting something, because it's been a while. Next up, we're going to the old world with some spooky skeletons. Alright, we got the Royal Heralds for the Tomb Kings. These are battle standard bearers and Tomb Princes, whether on foot or mounted on a horse. And these look really nice. I like them. These are all plastic. These are not old. These are not all metal. These are not resin. These are all plastic. which is something that old world kits are definitely needing at the moment. We also got Lich Priests, again, on foot or on a horse for, mounted combat. And we get the new Arcane Journal, War of Cetra's Fury. And also another one for Kate, the Dawn of the Storm Dragon. It's some little stuff for old world players. You're not forgotten. And then for Age of Sigmar, we got a new battle tome, which is like the Codex equivalent, but for Age of Sigmar. We got the Flesh Eater Courts, as well as several new models. We got the High Falconeer. This is like a ghoul that uses bats as falcons. We got a Spearhead, which is the equivalent of a combat patrol. The Charnel Watch. I'm not as familiar with Age of Sigmar as I am with Fantasy and 40k, so forgive me if I don't know what all these things are. But it looks like we got some vampire bat ghouls and some regular ghouls. Then we got the Battle Tome Night Haunt, which is again another codex or a different faction. Spooky Ghosts. We have a new model in the Lord Vitriolic. It was my understanding that this guy creates specific potions, poisons to fight specific monsters, which is that's nice. I don't know how that translates rules wise, but that's for the Age of Sigmar players to figure out. A new Spearhead in the form of the Cursed Shackle Horde. Ghosts aren't particularly hard to paint, so I fully expect this to be a popular combat patrol for beginners. And now we're getting into the good stuff, all right? But not in a good way though. We got Chaos Dwarves, or as GW are calling them now, the Helmsmiths of Hashut. All right, we got Chaos Dwarves, all right? And I have a lot of things to say about these guys, but let's get into the models first, all right? We got the War Despot, which is like a leader character. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. These do not look like Chaos Dwarves to me. All right, the colors are off. The designs are off. The colors. Why is everything green? Why does it look like they have warpstone? Now I get it. Those little orbs that they have on their weapons and armor. They're meant to be like demon souls that they entrap. Chaos Dwarves had molten steel, iron. They had like fiery colors, and now we're shifting from the red to the green. I mean, their main primary colors were black, bronze, and red, and now it's bronze and purple and green. It's such a massive shift from what they were originally that these aren't Chaos Dwarves. You're deviating very hard from what originally was the case. Yes, they still have big helmets. In my opinion, they're quite small now, but they're still pretty big. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And let's keep going because there's more to this. Then we got Infernal Cohorts, which are what I can imagine to be your battle line units. And some of these they look okay. They have beards and whatnot, but some of them don't have beards, and I don't. How do you have dwarves without beards? Unless they're women, but most of these don't have beards like at all. And my only thought is that they're women, but these are Chaos Dwarves. I don't think they would put their women on the front lines. All right, that's not something the Chaos Dwarves, at least the ones from Warhammer Fantasy, would do. But alas, here we are. This is Age of Sigmar, right? Everything's more progressive nowadays, for some reason. Then we got the Tormented Bombard. You can build these in two different ways. Again, this doesn't look that bad. It's just why does it have a green motif? Why is it green? Oh, but NEGA, it's green because it's demons. It's like, what are these, like Skaven? Like what? These are dwarves. Give me some molten iron. Give me some fire. Give me something. It's like, oh, but these have to be different because they are Chaos Dwarves. Oh, Chaos Dwarves. I thought they were called the Helmsmiths of Hashut. Which is it? We got the Dominator engine. Again, why? This would look so much better if they were primarily red. Now, here's the caveat. Here's the counter argument. But NEGA, you don't have to paint them green. You can paint them whatever color you want. And to that, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You can paint them whatever color you want. It's just this is the canon color is my issue. You know, it's just the fact that these in lore are meant to be green just doesn't make sense to me, given the context of who the Chaos Dwarves are. Back to the model though. I actually like how the Dominator engine looks in its melee version. Range version just doesn't fit to me, but the melee it's got like these two gigantic hammers. That looks alright, especially that different headpiece. That different headpiece really sells it to me. I like that. Just paint that red, looks amazing. We got the special edition Codex. That looks good. And then we get some more characters on here. We got the Demon Smiths. I like the pose on this one. Honestly, looks more like a Warcraft orc, like a warlock. This is Gul'dan. This is Gul'dan. After he died in the Warcraft universe, his soul got transported into the Age of Sigmar one, and he reincarnated as a Chaos Dwarf. That's gonna be my headcanon from now on. I really like how that he's got like a stone tomb that he just flips the pages of stone tablets from. That's a really nice touch. We also got the Ashen Elder, sorry. They gave some explanation that the Chaos Dwarves don't like to use hammers because it reminds them too much of like the other dwarven gods. To which I ask, what do you smith your stuff with? You need a hammer to do that sort of thing. A bit of a weird thing to say. We got Bull Centaurs, which you can dual build into Anointed Sentinels. They look a bit weird in the face, but model-wise, they don't look bad. I quite like them. Then we got the Infernal Razors, which you can dual build into Blunderbusses and Flame Hurlers. I can't tell which is which, but that's a design flaw, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Again, it seems weird to me to look at Chaos Dwarves that don't have beards. Again, these could just be women. But it is my understanding that dwarves in Warhammer, their women have beards too. That might just be a Tolkien thing, but as far as I remember, that was also the case. Then we got the as the people on the Warhammer stream called them, the vassal states of the Chaos Dwarves. The Helmsmiths of Hashut, the Hobgrot Vandals, which are they're orc slaves. They're orc slaves. Guys, it's okay to have your evil factions be evil. You don't have to sugarcoat the fact that they own slaves, that they partake in slavery. Okay, it's okay. Slavery's bad, but that's because these guys are evil, so they're going to do evil things. Therefore, they can have slaves because they're evil. All right, everyone, just calm down. All right, we don't have to pretend. Oh, they're not willingly. They're forcefully living under their conditions, but they're not slaves. They're indentured. They're under indentured servitude. They're slaves, you retards. All right, just be honest for once in your life. Now we got named character. We got Uruk-Tar on a bronze bull. I hate the model of the guy. The model of the bull though looks incredibly sick. Okay, this guy, this bull looks awesome. And even better, if you don't want to run him as a named character, you can run him as a generic demon smith on a dragon, on this gigantic metallic dragon bull thing. And it looks even better in like emerald green color. Look at that. Dude, that looks amazing. And then we got the standard codex, not the special edition, but just a normal one. All right, here's a caveat. Here's the saving grace for any people who's like, oh, but I actually look the designs of the health service if I should. All of this is subjective. You can disagree with me, but this is my opinion, okay? And here's the thing though. I didn't grow up in like the Warhammer fantasy. I knew about it, but I didn't grow up with it. I got introduced to the whole setting in like where I actually wanted to learn was Age of Sigmar. But Age of Sigmar at the time had like no lore, no world building, had nothing. So I had to retroactively go back and learn some things, and that's when I started to get into the old world. That's where I knew a lot of these factions. That's where I learned a lot of these factions. when I heard the rumor that Chaos Dwarves are going to be reintroduced into the setting, I was expecting them to be reintroduced for the old world, and then when they got announced for Age of Sigmar, I was like, I was honestly I was dreading it because I knew they were going to do some stupid changes, and sure enough they did. But alas, this is where we find ourselves now in 2025, where the things of the past are being redone, but somehow worse. But we're still not done with Age of Sigmar because we do have a massive expansion for Warhammer Underworlds. Which, I thought Underworlds was dead. Glad to see it's still alive. I personally don't play it, but if you do, you got something to look forward to. Warhammer Underworlds Spitewood expansion set. We got a whole new board with some new rules and a bunch of new armies. We got the Kurnov's Heralds, which have a bunch of centaurs on them. We have, with the introduction of the Helmsmiths of Hashut, we get a Underworlds set for them. The Blood of the Bull. Again, no beards. Super weird. We also have a lot, and I mean a lot, of upcoming armies with their data cards as well. Seekers in the Shadows, we have Zandire's Truth Seekers, the Shadeborn, the Starblood Stalkers, and Elthane's Soul Raid. Then for Reavers of Ruin, we have Skittershank's Claw Pack, which is a bunch of Skaven, the Gnarl Spirit Pack, the Thricefold Discord, just a bunch of Slaneshi demons, demonettes, and the Wormspat, which are Nurgle. These I like how these look. These look really cool. For Morbid minions, we have Thorns of the Brer Queen, Sons of Velmorn, the Exiled Dead. That one in the middle looks like a Gene Stealer to me. It's kind of funny. And the Sinnerkin. Then we got the Gits and Goliaths, which is a funny name. We got Molog's Mob. I like that flying squig on the side. Zarbag's Gits, Hrothgorn's Man Trappers, and Rippa's Snarlfangs. And they all come in a box for Warbands of Spitewood. All 16 armies. Is it 16 armies? Yeah, all 16 warbands. Not the models themselves, but the War Scroll cards, which are like the data cards that you need in order to play the army. So all 16 of those will come in this box. And that's all we have for Underworlds. And now we're moving on to Legions Imperialis, aka Warhammer 30k Epic Scale Edition, with the Mastodon Super Heavy Assault Transport, the Whirlwind and Scorpius Missile Tank Squadron, which is a dual build Rhino, a classic, the Vindicator Siege Tank Squadron, and the Cerberus Heavy Tank Destroyer Squadron. Again, these are very tiny, but they have a lot of detail to them. So these are always fun to look at. The Typhon Heavy Siege Tank Squadron, and a new book, the Libre Strategia. It's a 240-page supplement. Puts together the Legion Astartes, Solar Auxilia, Mechanicum, Dark Mechanicum, and the Titanica, as well as the Knights, all in one book. It's essentially an expansion. The issue is we don't get a preview as to what it looks like, so you'll only know when you buy it. And we get some more data cards for a lot of the new units, as well as some old ones, some new detachments and squadron formations, and some new objective markers and tokens. These are always nice, but what makes these good is the price. These things are too expensive. No one's gonna want to buy them. Now we're going from epic scale 30k to proper scale 30k in the Horus Heresy. We have Mark II Assault Squad. Now, what makes these special is the lack of a tactical rock. CGW, you can make flying units without having to stand on little flimsy pieces of plastic that break every time they fall over. It's possible. Just do it for 40k, please, I beg of you. Anyways, these are Mark II Assault Marines. I like them. I really like the Mark II design. The scale might be a bit off, but that's like the least of my worries. These look really cool. They all come with power axes, but we are told that you can buy the regular kit and just replace their power axes with swords, and it is compatible. How true that is, that's that's left up to the imagination. But They have said on record that it's possible. And here's a couple pictures of a Salamander's one. Looks a bit weird, but whatever. We get the new Journal Titanica, the Forges of Saturn, with a Saturnine Dreadnought on the cover. And that's it for Horus Heresy. Not a lot. Just a reveal of the Mark II Assault Marines and a new expansion book in the form of the Journal Titanica. A little bit disappointed. I genuinely expected to see more because I really like the way Horus Heresy models look. But hopefully we get more before the year ends. Moving away from models for a moment, we're getting a new book called Ashes of the Imperium, which is the first book in the Scouring series and talk about the Scouring, the event directly after the Horus Heresy. I am cautiously optimistic. I don't want this series to be as long as the Horus Heresy. I would like it to be, about as long as the Siege of Terra. The art that got released with this book looks really sick. It has the remaining loyalist Primarchs watching Rogadorn and Gilliman have a conversation, or rather an argument. And I really liked how it looks. It looks a bit somber, but also, like the fighting is over. They have a moment to just talk, which is not something that they really had the opportunity to do during the Siege of Terra. So this art piece looks really, really nice. Again, I'm hopeful that this doesn't take over a decade to complete. I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe a book every 6 months. Worst case scenario, maybe a book every year. But we'll see. We'll see. We were told that this is the first book in the Scouring. We were not told how many books the Scouring series is going to have. But, I would like my stories to finish before I die, is what I'm trying to say. And we return back to the 41st millennium with champions of the first founding. Starting off with the Salamanders, they've got Vulcan Heastan. Really good looking model. Only downside to me is the fire on the base, but everything else is on point. He even comes with a helmet. If you don't want to paint skin, don't worry. They got you covered, alright? Then for the Imperial Fists, we got Darna Flysander. Really cool looking model. Really cool looking shield. Arguably the focal point of the model in my opinion. And yes, it does come with a helmet, which for a named Terminator character is quite rare these days. For the Raven Guard, we got Aethon Shan. I don't like this model. This model has way too much going on, especially for a Raven Guard character. And I especially dislike that Skrillex haircut he's got going on. That's just looks disgusting to me. This is I don't like this one at all. For Iron Hands, we got Canuck Var. He looks alright. I don't know if his arms are actually like mechanical or that's just how Terminator arms look underneath, but I feel like he needs a bit more mechanized limbs. You can't really tell with the angles and the pictures that we currently have. Also, why does he have a Japanese looking mace? What's going on with that? That seems weird. And I dislike the little hologram that his skull has. But it's not the worst thing in the world. Everything else about it is fine. It's just those couple of things is why. We got the White Scars. We got Suboden Khan. His jet bike looks completely different from every other one. So I'm sure he's gonna stand out on the tabletop a lot. But there's a lot to like here. It's a lot to like here. And then we got the combat patrols for each and every single one of these. So these combat patrols are a bit weird. So for the Salamander one, we have a bunch of multi-meltas and flamers. But for whatever reason, we also have the ATV vehicle. We got the Mario Kart Double Dash crew here. And that's just why. For the Imperial Fists, I feel like they needed some heavy intercessors rather than just a regular intercessor squad. But this works fine. You got the command squad here, which good luck trying to find that on the Warhammer website. For the Raven Guard, we got the wannabe Dreadnought guy. He's not quite the Dreadnought, but he's looking forward to it. He's in training to become a Dreadnought. Gee, I wonder where I need to shoot on this thing to stop it from moving. I wonder. For Iron Hands, we got double turret. This is an awful combat patrol. This combat patrol, garbage trash. And then for the White Scars, we got the named character on the box. We didn't learn the lesson from last time. So, God forbid we learn it now, you know. And that's all we got for Champions of the First Founding. This is pretty good. Next up, we got a Lieutenant Titus wearable helmet, which explains why GW went after all those helmet creators these past couple of weeks with DMCAs, because, you know, they were releasing this down the pipeline. This looks alright. This reminds me a lot of the, you know, Halo 2 collectible helmet when that game came out. It's got its own little stand and everything. It's supposedly like very adaptable, so regardless of how big or small your head is, you should be able to wear it. This is not like my sort of thing. This is more for like collectors, but you know, it's nice that they're giving people the option. And for the last thing they revealed, we got the Tomb World Death Watch. This is a very nice looking box. It comes with an OG Death Watch. You know, you got the original OG Death Watch redone in like a Primaris style. We got the Watch Sergeant, the Bombard, the Gunner, the Breacher, the Horde Slayer, the Head Taker, the Marksman, the Aegis, the Demolisher, which people are memeing that he looks like the orangutan from Planet of the Apes, the Disruptor, and the Blade Master with a Necron sword. Very thematic. Very thematic. And then for the Necrons, we got the Geomancer, the Accelerator, and the Reanimator. You know, these are two different things. You know, they might look similar, but they're different. A couple of Tomb Crawlers, and some Warrior Drones. Now, the cool thing about this box is that it actually comes with a co-op scenario in which you play as the Death Watch as you kill, you know, NPC Necrons, which is pretty cool. It comes with some extra warriors for that. It's not part of the kill team, but you know, it's part of the box, and that's pretty good. I like it when they release boxes that have multi-purposes. You also got an entire terrain set, which I'm sure will go upwards of up to $300 online in secondary markets. And it's got the new, you know, kill team information box thing. We got the cards, we got the book, we got the little tokens, you know, everything is there. And that's all we had for the preview. You know, we had some good things, we had some bad things. All in all, this was a pretty good preview. Don't hate it. Anyhow, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to leave a comment, you know, go for it. You know, let me know did you enjoy the range? Did you not enjoy it? Do you think I'm full of it? You know, let me know down in the comment section. And I'll catch y'all later. Peace out.